right now, and I could trade Durant for this person and that person, and that would guarantee us winning a title, I would do it because I'm not I love KD, but I'm more of a Net fan than I am a KD or Kyrie fan. Like I want to see the team win.
Yeah, no, and therein lies the thing. It's like I think we're divided between a part of Nets fandom that has different principles about
Yep.
how they see success,
Yep.
or right,
Yeah, absolutely.
and and that's why we have such a hard time communicating with them, is because there's different types of fans. There's New York Nets fans, which that's you and Bam. You guys, y'all, um, dad started with the team as the New York Nets and just kept you guys as Nets fans throughout the New Jersey years too, right?
Yep.
Um, I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, a fan of the team when they came to Brooklyn. Like I I you can't be mad because I changed to the place that I'm born, live, raised my children, built my businesses. Like you can't.
Yeah, of
The
course.
the point of moving a team somewhere is to become a part. It's not. We didn't come to Brooklyn to be the annexed version of the New Jersey Nets. Like that's you. You hear those arguments, Sam? Like, oh
Yeah.
how,
No.
oh how did you become a Nets fan? I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan. I'm from Brooklyn. They bought a team to Brooklyn. Like what was I supposed to do? Not like like it's the stupidest argument ever. But because of the various levels of pain, right? You didn't become a Nets fan because they were the shiny new toy. You were a Nets fan during the time that it wasn't even really cool to be a Nets fan, right?
Yep. Yep.
Uh, because of that, when they were in New Jersey, it didn't really matter so much. Like, yeah, they were irrelevant, but so what? They're irrelevant. I just want them to win, relevance or not. I want to win. I want to win a championship. These Jason Kidd years are awesome. Can we have more of that, please? Let's be in the running to win a championship, and let that be the team standard. Let's let that be who we are. I feel like the New York Nets fans are very much in that space. But then there's the New Jersey Nets fans. The New Jersey Nets fans suffer from the reason why the like there are more Knicks fans than Nets fans in New Jersey. I feel like, especially northern New Jersey, feels like they're part of New York. Feels like they're New York's, uh, uh, backyard, and so that's why it never took. That stadium was empty all the time. That it was one of two teams that wore New Jersey on the uniform, and New Jersey wasn't rocking with it. But the dudes who were rocking with it, all they wanted all that time was to be recognized, was to be cool, was to be on Sports Center. The Nets had Vince Carter, the most highlight, like he was one of the top dudes in the NBA. I'm not exaggerating, right, Sam?
No. No. He was. He was. Yeah.
He was a superstar, right? Not star, superstar, correct?
Yep. Yep.
And nobody cared. He was in New Jersey, nobody cared. And I feel like that group of that part of the fan base argues with your part of the fan base and my part of the fan base, and I'm gonna break down the Brooklyn Nets fans, uh, because they like being relevant. They like being. This is what they've been waiting for the whole time. They've had great teams, and nobody cared. They've had great players, and nobody cared. So now we have Kyrie Irving, we have Kevin Durant. We're on First Take every day. We're in Nick's Wright's mouth every day. How dare that guy grow his hair long? Who the fuck does he think he's, Fabio? You get the Turkish delight on your dome piece. You don't go brag and grow your hair out like Fabio, Nick Wright. Your hair plugs don't give you that license for you to be doing that type of shit, Nick Wright. But they like being, just they're talking about us.
Yep.
And then there's the Brooklyn Nets fans. The Brooklyn Nets fans, a lot of us made the decision, I'm going to switch from the Knicks, or I didn't really have a team before, but I'm going to join this Nets shit. I don't want this to be another addition to the Mets and the Jets and the Giants and all the shit that we suck at in New York. Being new fans, this is supposed to be something new. It's supposed to be great. It's supposed to be, we're not supposed to be losers. We take all the things the Nets in Jersey had. They had great teams. They had great young players. They've had superstars, and like Jason Kidd and Vince Carter, and nobody cared. It's in Brooklyn now. Good teams. Now people care. People starting to care. It's growing. It's a huge new thing. And we're not getting the basketball we wanted either. We don't want it like how you guys want it a different way. I recognize that. I'm sometimes I listen to the conversations that you and Matt have, Sam.
Yeah.
And I say, you know what? That's fair. I see why y'all so angry. I see the frustration. I understand. But these other dudes just be like, you know what? I hate you, Nick Wright. You're a bitch, James Harden. Fuck you, Pod Thorne.
The only thing I would add to what you said is I also think there is a sect that I think is really loud. And maybe this is part of what you were getting at, but I was just making kind of more of a subsect. There is the subsect of fans that like basically started rooting for the team either the second KD and Kyrie came or maybe a year before when they got when they were a little sexier with the whole D'Lo thing going on, because D'Lo was his own House of Highlights. Like, for a guy that wasn't particularly great, House of Highlights and Twitter and social media was obsessed with him.
D'Lo had charisma.
Yeah.
D'Lo is cool.
Yep.
And to kind of, so they're a cross section of that, and you're right. And I might be painting some New Jersey Nets fans with that brush, because there is a group of fans that weren't Nets fans, but when we started to get cool, they were like, all right, they were the type of people that were putting their toe in the water. They were trying to see, is it cool to come here and root for this team? All right, Karis LeVert, D'Lo, all right, these young dudes, this is kind of cool, all right. Basquiat jerseys. Oh, no, not Basquiat. Coogee jerseys. Okay, Biggie. I like Notorious B.I.G. All right, baby. Okay, yeah, okay. I'll become a Nets fan. I'm one of y'all now. No, you're right. That's another group. And then don't forget, and I'm going to pass it to you, do not forget the Kyrie stands. That's another cross section that might, be kind of bleeding into this conversation. It makes it kind of hard to gauge what's real.
Yeah, I just think that it's just weird coming from, the new generation, like all of everyone that is from, I would say I have a cousin who's a freshman in college, and from him to even I would say around Trey's age and younger. A lot of people in that age group just don't root for teams. It really is a player culture across basketball. It's the strongest, but you even see it in football. You see it in baseball to a lesser extent. And for me, that's just still so foreign, because New York is such a team town. It's never been an I player town.
Let me share this with you. This one, you're dead on. And however, I will say this. On my son's basketball team, I feel like because the Nets are good and because the Nets have those players, they're more associated to the team. Like they connect to the team more, and that's just front runnerism. You know what I mean? It's like you got a good team. The team is fun to watch. It's fun to root for. Those kids, when they say they're called the Red Storm, they chant Red Storm, Red Storm. They're not doing that, copying the Nets chant. If the Nets are losers, you understand what I'm saying? That's when your local team, the team that identifies with where you're from and who you are, sucks. That's when you retreat to it doesn't matter that the Knicks suck. I'm a LeBron fan. I go wherever LeBron go, and that way you can be a winner and you can or I'm a Kyrie stan. I stand with him socially and politically. So win or lose, win games, lose games, it doesn't matter. Are we saving the seals next week? I'm with it. Like that. You're right. There's different lanes in this thing.
and so it's just weird from my perspective because obviously the thing that I want the most is I want to see the Nets win a title with KD and Kyrie. But the thing that I want the
100%
even more than that is a title. And so it's weird to see what I think a lot of the disconnect when we have Nets conversations, not me and you, but in the spaces or on Twitter or whatever it is that there's we're basically talking past each other because some people go into these arguments knowing there's no chance I'll blame Kyrie, or there's no chance I'll ever put any blame on or fault on Nash, or there's no chance I'll ever put any fault on Kyrie because we're just lucky to have them. It's so sick, or this guy's my favorite player or whatever. And it's just that's just not how anything operates. Look at how much blame throughout their careers all of the great New York athletes took.
Right.
Eli was getting Eli got killed, Jeter got killed, Patrick Ewing got killed. So this idea that these guys are infallible and you can't say anything about them, or if you do it means that whatever. I just don't at a certain point.
You know what kind of player doesn't mind being demanded to be a winner?
Oh, a winner?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm serious. You know what kind of player doesn't mind fans demanding him to do better, demanding him to be better? It's the player that demands it of himself.
Yep.
If he's already there, if he's already recognizing, my defense is trash, I need to step it up, right? That's a winner's mindset. And so it shouldn't be a problem if you ruthlessly want the team to win. I don't care. I would be so happy if the Nets win a championship with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I want this to be worth it, Sam. I truly do. And I think the way that they get there is not basically being their yes men. It's not basically just, kowtowing to whatever thing they do. That's the fastest road to being a loser. If you love someone, you speak honestly to them.
Yep.
You hold them accountable. And back to basketball, I saw Kevin Durant holding Kyrie accountable. That made me very happy. You might have missed that, Sam. I don't know.
That. I mean, I'm happy to hear it because it's beyond necessary. But I don't know. It's just the last thing I'll say on this specific topic is could you imagine? Could you imagine had Derek Jeter missed half the season for something, and then he came back and he was like, man, it really sucks that we have to play a night game against the Red Sox, and the next day we have to play a day game.
It's 2/3, right? How many games do we have left?
2.
It will be 25 games, or it's under 30, right? Regardless, it's more like 2/3. It's not half. He didn't miss half the game. He missed 2/3 of the games, and because of that, that's the way it needs to be measured. It shouldn't be that you can't mistake that part. That's a reality of the situation. I think the way we talk about it makes it seem like